It's 2025 and we're excited to deliver information to your streams with a new season of Investor Insights, a dynamic feature where investment meets insights and you, of course, stay informed. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting your journey, we bring you expert analysis, market trends, and success stories to help you navigate. So get ready to unlock new opportunities, one conversation at a time. Today, we're delving into the heart of investment, and who better to have than an expert in the industry, Miss Alana Lansiquot, Senior Manager of Investment at Invest in Lucia. Welcome, Alana.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you, and I'm even more excited about the conversation that we'll have. So we'll get right into it. Are you excited to talk about it?
Sure, of course, it's an exciting topic. This work is dynamic, it's always changing. So anytime I get a chance to talk about it a bit, I'm happy to do it.
Awesome. So first we'll start with the purpose of investment beyond financial returns.
When we're talking about investment in this forum, we're not talking about you going to the bank or you buying a mutual fund or a stock. We're talking about direct investment or foreign direct investment, which is literally how you stimulate economic development in your country. So that is the main purpose of economic development. So we're talking jobs, we're talking attracting foreign exchange, capital moving throughout the economy. We're talking about market access, so trying to expand your market locally. In St. Lucia, if you're a domestic investor, how do you attract new customers? And if you're a foreign investor, you're coming here to seek a new market. There's also the technology transfer aspect of it. So it provides access to maybe technology products and services that aren't in country, but they now come in country through the attraction of FDI. And then you talk about when you have business growing and booming and activity in your country, then you're talking about upgrades to your infrastructure. So whether it be your airports, your seaports, your roads, your bridges, your communication networks, it all provides an opportunity because there's more business taking place, there's more movement of people taking place, getting to and from work, moving supplies across the country. So that's an important part of it as well. And then there's the soft side of it. You have the cultural exchanges between a foreign investor and a local investor, understanding, integration, assimilation in a community. So these are just some of the important aspects of FDI.
Awesome. And in you speaking, I think you also spoke on my next question. That would have really been what really influenced that investor's decision. I mean, you see St. Lucia, we see an island, and hey, I want to invest. What influences that decision for an investor to call Invest in Lucia and say, hey, I've seen this and I would like to come here to start my business?
St. Lucia is on a list of maybe several countries or locations that somebody told them or they from their own research has determined would be a good fit for their investment, but they're looking to access a new market, or if they're trying to develop some kind of efficiency in their operations for the services they provide to their customers. So from that research, they're looking to see, are you a politically stable economy? What is your foreign exchange rate compared to the US dollar? How easy is it for me to get my goods and services in and out of St. Lucia? What are the tax considerations that I need to take into account if I'm going to invest in here? What would be my optimal business structure to do that? Are there concessions from tax that I can get to establish my business there? Are there linkages to support my business? Do they have communications? Do they have roads? Are the talent, our local talent trained to support their business? Because at the end of the day, it's a financial decision. So if you're leaving your home country to go on vacation, just like they're leaving their home country to come and do business in a new jurisdiction, they have to look at all of these considerations to determine how does St. Lucia stack up versus Jamaica or even Miami in some instances, because we're not just competing with our neighbors, right next to us. It's a global environment. So an investor is looking to see how best your destination can make them more competitive in a global environment.
Oh, my question now would be, what part would the government play in ensuring that we have created that environment for investors to come in and have that ease of doing business in St. Lucia?
Okay. So what you're talking about is what makes the investment climate, the business climate attractive. So government's role is really regulation and policy because that guides everything else. So regulation and policy will guide how attractive are the incentives um, for this sector. So tourism sector, for example, for a business to come and set up. So that because businesses have a cost consideration they need to take into account if they're making a decision to move. So government's role is to make sure that the regulatory environment is clear, it is predictable, it's rules based. Laws and legislation are in place that are fair to the investor and the state. They need to show that the environment in terms of local building codes, how you go about attracting your workforce, how you treat the workforce. Is it fair? Is it equitable? Is there sustainability ingrained in what the business wants to do? Because that's a theme that's more and more important globally in this day and age. Is the business sustainable? Is the location where I'm going to be doing this work, is it sustainable? Is that a theme that it permeates where it is that you are going to be located? And then you have to think about how is the government going to be a partner with you? How are they going to support your business in growing? Because you need to have a very close relationship with government. If you want to see your business grow when you establish, but then also for you to reinvest and be a part of the fabric of the country and the location that you're in. So that's the role that Invest in Lucia takes as an agency of government to make sure that we advocate for the investor, we advocate for the government, and people really understand where it is they're coming to the business, what is on the ground, and how they can access those things.
In addition to ensuring that we have an attractive investment climate, which you just explained, how does Invest in Lucia now come in? What would really be the role of the investment promotion agency in any country?
The role of the investment promotion agency, in some places they call it an economic development agency. It's really to support the business environment in terms of showcasing what it is that a country or destination has to offer, whether it be the access to infrastructure, whether it be the availability of talent, assisting with your identification of a site that you want to set up your business, introductions to other stakeholders and partners that you would be liaising with once you come into the country. The first part of investment promotion is providing information. This is an information-driven economy that we are in. Nobody makes an investment blind. So a key to investment promotion is making sure that you have accurate information that you're providing to investors, providing to the world, because an investor could be anybody. And then making sure that you tell the story of your country as a national limit, not letting anybody else tell the story of your country, because you know what your country has to offer. So you need to put the information out there in the best light possible, and then to provide other information and support in terms of the application process, how you get your permitting, your licenses, and essentially how to integrate in the community that you are going to be doing business in.
All right. And I think that's interesting. I mean, with everything that you've explained, because I think some persons, like you said, may not see that aspect of investment promotion, and especially for the agency. A lot of persons think it's the agency probably has land to sell and whatever. But I'm so happy that you've given that breakdown so that we have a better understanding that, hey, there is a process of information that really goes into somebody leaving their home and coming into St. Lucia to establish their business.
And even you mentioned the land, we do own a fair bit of land in St. Lucia, but the land is for different purposes. Not all the land that we own is for an investor. We also have a responsibility to ensure that St. Lucians have access to land with infrastructure in place, etc. But the land assets is one of the most critical assets of St. Lucia aside from a people. So our job is to make sure that we nurture it, we protect it, and in places where we can make it available to an investor, we have to ensure that this is the right investor for the location. And then we can give them access to a property or a factory space or a office space, a commercial space, where that they can get into quickly without necessarily having to go through it alone. So we guide them, we're a partner with them, we make it accessible to them so they can, start employing people quickly and start circulating money in the economy.
So what I would like to ask you now is the future of investment. And there is so much happening in the world right now for AI and, technology. So what does the future of investment look like? And what does it look like for us here in St. Lucia as well?
The future of investment, it's quite interesting and exciting. There's a lot of things that are, in my opinion, are already changing the landscape, but will continue to change the landscape. So we live in a global society. What happens in St. Lucia affects our neighbors. What happens with our neighbors affects us. So I think you'll see, in terms of trends, rising AI, robotics, those kinds of things. Definite renewable energy, alternative energy, waste management, sustainability goals being at the forefront of those things, corporate accountability. So how businesses take that sustainability aspect into it, how they manage their risk, how they have business continuation plans, so that they can get their businesses to their customers in the most seamless fashion. Risk management is going to be important. The realigning of supply chains around the world. I think the pandemic taught everybody that there needs to be more thought into how supply chains are managed. So bringing the supply chain closer, even more local, more regional, than what it may have been necessarily before.
Yeah. Awesome. And what about right here in St. Lucia? How do you think that, these changes that's happening globally and we see them every day, how are we preparing ourselves for it?
So you're talking about in terms of sectors.
Yeah.
So really what we see is a growth in the services sector. I mean, there's growth in other sectors, minerals, mining, etc. But for St. Lucia, those sectors really bode well because what we really then have to focus on is our talent, making sure they are ready, making sure they are prepared for this global world of work that we are now entering the next phase of.
Yes, yeah, and I think that's definitely is going to be an exciting phase. And yes, I'm excited. I'm just hearing you speak about the so many factors that exist in tourism alone. So I'm really excited to see the trajectory of Saint Lucia and how we navigate through all of these things that are happening. So as we close, I'd love to ask you if we had an investor looking at this conversation right now. What would be your pull for them to invest in St. Lucia today?
So it's a savvy investor. I would say that you need to be very sure who your partners are. So I would tell him, if you have a partner like Invest St. Lucia, you basically have a team on island, even if you're on island. So we will take you through from A to Z. The most important thing is to have strong partners looking out for you and speaking truth to power. Somebody that will tell you this is realistic, this is not realistic, this can happen in X amount of time, this can happen in X, Y amount of time, and being accountable for what they say to you and focused on delivering the best kind of service that there is for that.
Yes, and I'm so happy that you were able to join us for this discussion of investor insights. St. Lucia has so much to offer.
She does have a lot to offer. And I would encourage anybody that sees this, whether you be a domestic investor, a foreign investor, entrepreneur, somebody thinking about doing business, that you contact us on our website, send a question through social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. We have all the platforms, and an investment officer would reach out to you and answer your questions.
Thank you so much, Alana, for joining us. This was really an insightful conversation with so much to learn and so much to take away. And we just also encourage anybody who's listening to this discussion to invest in St. Lucia, make it your own, whether you're in St. Lucia, whether you're overseas, but a piece of her belongs to you. So invest today, and thank you for being part of this conversation. And we look forward to you joining us on our next episode of Investor Insight.